Barb and I have been burning the candle at both ends, and we decided to look up an old buddy of mine, a dive buddy. We used to work together on the Mississippi River diving for mussel shells. And Captain Robert Vavra, has gone on to get his captain's license, and he owns and runs a tour boat business called Maiden Voyage Tours out of Marquette, Iowa, practically underneath the bridge. It is a fascinating experience, well worth the time, and what a wealth of knowledge. Robert has really done well at this. It's very interesting. People come from all over and do this tour. And if you ever get in the McGregor, Iowa area, you need to check this out. If you miss this, you haven't lived.
From Washington, Iowa, or actually good history for here because McGregor had a button factory, Lady Washington, and Guttenberg had a Lady Washington factory. And these are all these towns had button factories up and down the river.
Well,
are all of those buttons made out of those shells?
Yes. Yep, all those buttons right there, mother of pearl buttons.
There's like pink ones, so they're like pink.
They would dye them.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but there was actually, well, I'll show you, but these are pearls that I found during my tenure here on the river, different colors and shapes and sizes. And you have a small pearl collection at all? Or?
Not anymore.
Yeah, see, you and me had a bad habit. We would take the pearl to the jeweler. The jeweler would work with the pearl. I'd give that to a chick, and that was not profitable. But my wife has one, my sister has one, and we don't talk about two others. But these are some pearls that I found during my tenure, different colors, shapes, and sizes, and I think that was part of the...
Did they look like this in the shell? Or?
A man, the kids and wife had their life jackets on, and he was in a canoe, and he didn't have his life. They rolled the canoe over, and he drowned. And a friend of mine offered to dive the wing dam around there to see if they could find him. He turned up later, but it was a good effort, and you know, he's still trying to salvage a day to make a little money, so he came back up to a little slough right there called Big Swift, and went down diving, and he found a pearl that day, and it was 17 millimeters through, and it was 24 millimeters long, and they took it up to Oma, where they bought pearls. He got $2,600 in a check and $100 cash for beer money home. Right there. To the beads maker. And the beads maker, he would cut squares. He would take those squares and he'd put them in a tumbler and he'd make a round bead. Then they would surgically implant that bead into an oyster, put them in chicken wire baskets for 3 to 5 years while they coat the bead. That is a cultured pearl. That's the aggregate for making a cultured pearl.
This is one half of a washboard mussel shell. This is primarily what we were diving for. The Japanese buy the shells, and then they make the cultured pearls out of them, as you saw in the frames before, where Robert showed the cutouts they make, and then they do a tumble of those to get them round, and then implant them in the oysters and hang them in racks. After they're done coating to whatever consistency they want, they pull these racks out and harvest the cultured pearls. It's about a 50% death rate. So it's lucrative, but it used to be lucrative.
Jackson at the wheel. And it's midnight. The fog sets in. Cap Jackson can see nothing. He calls for his 2 sounders to take position on port and starboard bow, and they have a rope with knots tied in it and a weight, and they throw it out. And as it went by, they'd holler, "Quarter twin, port side, quarter twin, 2 hands, starboard side," and the captain would be listening to his sounders because he can't see. He has his feet firmly on the deck of the boat so you can feel the vibrations of the hull. You know, there's about 2,600 missing, unaccounted for steam-driven paddle wheelers on the bottom of the Mississippi River. There's about 460 or so missing on the Missouri River, and there's hundreds of missing boats on eastern rivers. Average life expectancy of a steam-driven paddle wheeler was not 3 years. That's crazy. They found one, you know. They found one. That way we're gonna run into Wisconsin again. Let's turn that one. There you go. Kansas City, 46 feet down in a cornfield, 1987. All of it intact. The Arabian. 250 tons of pre-Civil War goods going to start general stores up the Missouri River. If you ever get through Kansas City, stop in at the Arabian. Captain crew did a good job that night. Way to go there, Cap. Got over the mud bar. It got a little deeper. It got to half twain, and then it got to 3/4 twain, then all of a sudden, starboard sounder hollered, "Mark of twain!" Clear sailing. Twain is just a unit of measure. It's 12 feet, 369 the quarters. Samuel Clemens, needing that pen name, takes his pen name from that process. Mark Twain. I got most of them this time. The spawn must be still kind of on because he left a couple in there. So it's kind of like the teenage girls dance.